Even men at the top of their game find themselves wanting more from life. Whether it's more meaning, unshakable confidence, a bigger impact, more money, deeper love, a hotter sex life, or a powerful legacy. Find out how good your life can be on this episode of Man Alive. Also, as I've supported men in their love and work lives for 15 years now, many men ask for the right words to say to be more successful, attractive, and desirable. But I found it's not so simple as giving scripts or lines because every man is different. So giving words or scripts would be like giving a tall, thin man a shorter, wider man's pants, or vice versa. The words have to make sense for you and your personality, and there's so much happening beneath the surface that people are responding to. If you're interested in how to become a better lover and leader in your own unique way, go to shanajamescoaching.com/quiz, or you can text ALIVE to 44144. It only takes a couple minutes and you'll start to get an idea of how you can be both more respected and desired. After you fill it out, we can schedule a time to review your quiz and talk about your specific challenges and desires. So again, go to either shanajamescoaching.com/quiz or text ALIVE to 44144. That's ALIVE to 44144. Enjoy this episode of Man Alive. Hello, and welcome to this episode of Man Alive. I'm your host, Shana James. Excited to be here today with Connell Barrett. Connell, you feel like a soul brother to me, that you focus on authenticity and dating and how nice guys can actually, finish first instead of last, and all the ways that I've read about you. I know you have a book that just came out, Dating Sex, But You Don't. All of these incredible foundations around men being great and amazing and not needing to twist themselves, to be loved or to be wanted. So thank you so much for doing this work in the world and for being here today.
My pleasure, Shane. I'm really psyched to be with you. You have a great podcast. And let's talk about men, dating, love, all the fun stuff.
Yes, let's do it. So maybe give us a quick background of, I know this was personal for you, that the struggles happened for you in the dating arena, and then you started teaching. So what was one of those main moments where you realized, oh my God, this is not working for me?
The big moment when I realized I had to make a change it was about 14 years ago. I was at Starbucks in New York City on a sunny Sunday afternoon. And for the 5,000th time in my life, I saw a really interesting, intriguing, attractive woman who I really wanted to talk to. And I couldn't. I could not walk up and break the ice and just flirt. I couldn't even say hi. I felt locked up inside. It's like I had a foot on the gas and a foot on the brakes.
Yeah.
I have what's called approach anxiety in the dating industry, just wanting to talk to attractive people, women as a man, single straight man, wanting to talk to women, but not being able to, fearing rejection, getting in your head. So I even walked toward her table. She was sitting there. She looked like Katie Holmes, who was my crush at the time.
Yeah.
And I actually circled her table 2 or 3 times like a scared shark. A frightened little shark, baby shark. And trying to get up the courage to talk to her. And I couldn't.
Wow.
And she got up and walked out. And I said to myself, there's another woman I'll never meet or be able to connect with. And some other guy is going to have a date with her. It won't be me. And that was when I realized, okay, I have some confidence issues, some conflicts inside of me that are keeping me from feeling like I have worth to women, that are holding me back. I need to fix that. And I jumped online and found my first coach. And that brought me down this rabbit hole of learning success with dating and what works, what doesn't. And that was the day that really was the inflection point for me.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm just thinking, I loved what you just said about there were some conflicts inside you, right? Because there are different parts of us. And, clearly that one part had a really strong desire to go and have this conversation and move something forward. And then there was another part that was very shy and hesitant and fearful. And so it's interesting when we can start to look at all of those parts of ourselves and not just, make it that all of ourselves, like all of me is scared or all of me is afraid of rejection, right? There was something else happening inside you too, clearly.
Absolutely. And at the time I told myself, well, I just don't know what to say. I don't know the words to get her quote into me. And I've heard thousands of men say that to me, but that's actually a fig leaf. It's not that you don't know the words.
Yes.
It's that you don't know the words that guarantee success and make rejection impossible.
Yes.
Which, of course, there are no words.
Yeah. I was just talking to a woman client this morning, and she said, well, how would I talk about this, with this person? And I said, well, the simple answer is you would open your mouth and you would just say exactly what you told me, right? The complicated answer is everything that stands in the way, all those beliefs about yourself and what that makes you, if you were to say something like that and how you would look and all those things that get in the way. But the foundation of it is simple. It's like we could just actually say it.
Yeah, you can just speak your thoughts, share that genuine, authentic thought.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be good, doesn't have to be smooth. In fact, it can be kind of amazingly Hugh Grantian charming to just kind of stutter and stammer and say, I just had to meet you.
Well, so most men I talk to are like, nope, I can't do that. I can't. It's got to be right. It's got to be clear. It's got to be powerful. So tell us more about that it doesn't have to be that way. You're
on a date, or you're approaching a woman, or you're chatting with a woman at a party. You're not doing a TED Talk. You're not doing a stand-up routine. Men put the bar way too high for how good the conversation has to be, which of course creates tension.
Yep.
Makes them feel like they have to throw a no-hitter instead of just throw a few pitches in the general direction of the plate and see if any of them get over the plate. Yep. And one of the tips I like to give men is I just say, literally speak your thoughts as they arise. As long as they're not vulgar, speak your thoughts. And something I learned from dating coaches going out into the bars and clubs and lounges and approaching is my old coaches used to say, go up and talk to her. And I'd say, well, what do I say? And my coach said, well, what are you feeling right now? And I would say, oh, I'm in my head and I'm nervous. He's like, great, say that.
Say it.
Yeah, speak that.
Yeah.
Align yourself, get congruent with, have your thoughts, words, and actions align.
That's one of my, actually, I have these 10 essentials of authentic attraction that I say most men are never taught. Nice. And one of them is, right, that when you align your insides with your outsides, you build trust. And women actually don't have that spidey sense of like, ooh, something weird going on. And, I believe that too, right? You can go up and you can say, I'm nervous. I don't know. I'm curious too, because I also work with men around, it's really different to say, oh my God, I'm nervous, and feel like you need them to save you or fix you or help you, versus the recognition of, oh yeah, there's a part of me that's really nervous right now. And there's another part of me that actually knows I'm a kick-ass dude who, you'd be fortunate to actually get to meet. So how do you work with those, that nervousness so that they can go up and say it in a way that's not like dumping a bag of hot potatoes in someone's lap?
Right. The first rule of approaching women is every approach is a 10 out of 10. Hell, it's 100 out of 10.
Nice.
Because at least you did it.
You did
took an action. Right. Yeah. And going back to that moment at Starbucks when I had that conflict, what was happening inside of me and what's happening inside of, I think, millions of single straight men is they look at an approach, quote unquote, an approach as heads I win, tails I'm unworthy.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of pain to face.
It's so much pressure. Yeah.
Right. So we want to reframe it as heads I win, tails I win. Yeah. Heads, I have a great interaction. We connect, we flirt, we chat, maybe we have a date.
Yep.
Or tails, maybe she's not into you. Maybe there's not chemistry, but you just put a marble brick in the character of the cathedral of your character.
Yeah.
So if we reframe approaching or any romantic risk, as long as it's coming from a well-intentioned, authentic place, reframe everyone as a win, then our psychology snaps into, ooh, I'm getting rewards. It feels good, even if I don't get her number. So we have to reframe that win-lose mindset to win-win.
I love it. Right. It's either you had an amazing experience or you're one step closer to the experience that you really want to have.
Yeah, absolutely. And you thicken your skin to rejection because we have to embrace rejection. It's just part of life, part of dating. Dirty little secret is it's not really rejection.
Yeah.
People who don't know you can't really reject you. Maybe they're just rejecting your offer,
right?
Your situation, or
it's
maybe they're in a relationship, or maybe you caught her in a bad mood, and she's just like.
I love that distinction, right? They can't actually reject you. They can reject your offer, but they don't know who you are. They don't, what's that saying? They don't know you from Adam, right? It's like,
totally.
They're not rejecting you.
If your wife of 7 years walks down the stairs one morning and says, honey, you've never made me orgasm. You have small penis and I'm leaving you for Fabio. Okay. That's rejection. I'll have a drink with you at the bar.
That's painful.
And yeah, but getting ghosted after a date or somebody goes quiet on a Tinder or an approach where she says, hey, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah.
That's not you being unworthy.
Yeah.
It might just be that she's the Beatles, you're the Stones. Stones are awesome.
That's
Stones
great.
rock.
Right. Right. And I think it's so important that men actually, show their Beatle nature or whatever, like whatever they are, that they actually go out there with that uniqueness out front, as opposed to, oh, I've got to hide this because women might not like that, or she might not like that. Right. I mean, otherwise women don't actually get to know you for who you really are.
Yeah. Hiding your flaws is not the problem. I'm sorry, I should say hidden flaws are not your problem. It's hiding your flaws is the problem. Wearing a mask, covering up, and not letting women see that true/best self.
Yeah.
And I liken it to, when I was in grad school, there was this coffee shop I used to love. It was a hipster coffee shop. The music was too loud. The baristas were too cool. It was a little too dark, but I just loved that place. It was just me. Yeah. A lot of people didn't want to go there.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And so I guess my point is, like, everybody goes to Starbucks, but nobody wears a t-shirt. Nobody gets a Starbucks tattoo.
Right.
So you want to be your version of a hipster, cool, quirky coffee shop that some people are going to love and some people won't.
Are going to hate. Right. Like, that's okay.
Don't be Starbucks is my point.
Don't be
Unless
Starbucks.
You're sponsored by Starbucks, in which case I love Starbucks.
Right. I like how you talk about connection rather than conquest. Can you give a sense of more about what you mean by that?
Yeah, I think that men have, maybe it's because of the book, The Game, maybe it's because all these different so-called dating experts out there talk about create attraction, ignite attraction, attraction moves, seduction moves. And I think that nature has pretty much taken care of the whole attraction thing. Huh. Men like straight women, straight women like straight men. It's just mostly handled. Yeah. And so if a person is your type, he, she, you're going to already be attracted to each other. What a woman needs, I feel, is, okay, I find you attractive, but do I feel connected to you? Uh-huh. Do I feel like you're connecting with me and bringing value to my life in a way that's relevant and powerful for me? I love
that. And it can show up in that first moment. I've definitely had a conversation with men where they're like, what do I say? When do I ask for her number or whatever? Or I just remember a guy, we were kind of doing a little bit of role play of a conversation in the supermarket. And, nice. I was like, we were having this conversation and I was like, okay, so if you're focused on trying to get her number, it's similar. You're not adding value to her day. You're not opening up, you're not opening her to something that she's not aware of already, or inspiring her, exciting her. So like, do that whole thing. And at the end, it's like, okay, hey, I'd love your number or something. But when there's that focus on, okay, where am I going to get to? And is this going to happen? And how do I make it happen? And all that pressure and all that nervousness, then all the women are feeling are that pressure and that intensity.
Right. You're too focused on the outcome, on getting a quote unquote result. Women don't want to be a result. No. They want to give you their number or set up a date or go get coffee right then and there because, wow, I really feel connected to him. Right. I'm having this cool rom-com moment in real life rather than feeling like he's doing judo attraction moves. Right. And I feel like, if you go too hard, if you try for attraction, you get revulsion.
But if you try for attraction, but if you
try for connection, then you get attraction, or I should say, you amplify the attraction that's already there.
Yes, that's a great way to say it.
So there is a paradox. Of course, as guys, we want numbers, we want results, we want the dates, but we need to walk and chew gum at the same time. We need to say, you know what, my main goal is to take the chance, put myself out there. Really, my goal is to make her smile. My goal is to make her day or night better, because I know that if I do that, then I'll be giving her what she wants. And then if she likes me, she'll give me what I want in a win-win way, rather than what do I say to get the digits.
I like that. It also reminds me of what I've often said to men around, slowing down. Like, it seems like, if I go faster, we'll get there faster. But actually, oftentimes with women, if you slow down, it speeds up the process, right? If you come into the moment and into that presence and connection, then a woman's like, what is happening here? This is different. This is amazing.
Yeah, I just began seeing an incredible woman named Jessica, and our first 2 dates were pretty slow rolling. Yeah. And I've had to sort of, over time, I work with a lot of pickup artists and guys who teach that escalation and keep moving forward. Yes. And I just find that doesn't work. And it also just feels it
feels icky.
Icky. And our first 2 dates, Jess and I we chilled out. Our kisses were G-rated. It was sweet. It was really innocent. Yeah. And the third date, things got a bit more more sparks.
More fire.
Because neither of us pushed it neither of us pushed it faster than it wanted to go.
Yeah.
And whether it's date 3 or date 13 or first date, let it move forward of its own momentum. A woman will essentially tell you how fast she wants to go based on lots of different signals that you're always aware of. Being really empathetic and aware of how she's feeling kind of tells you how quickly she wants to go. And also you might want to go slow too. Some guys want to go slow.
And how does that play out if there's a man who's looking for the signals from her, but he's coming from his own place of more hesitance or fear, right? How do you help them work with that?
I think I tell them, look, we're circling the bases here, but we can circle them really slowly. You don't need to hit a home run right away. And I do believe it's the man's job, more or less, for lack of a better term. It is the man's job to kind of lead this dance, lead it toward where we both want it to go. Another date, romantic, deeper connection, escalation, and at the same time, watch and notice how a woman is responding to it. And I think that men sometimes especially in the Me Too era, men say, "Oh, I'm already hesitant. I'm already not sure if I have the moves. Plus, I don't want to be inappropriate. I don't want to do anything to make her feel sketched out or harassed." So, unfortunately, a lot of men stop making moves, stop moving things forward. And I think that the lesson of the Me Too era is not about men. It's about women and what they've been through. And what I tell guys is, by the way, women still want men to be men. Yeah. You still can lead the dance.
You can lead, and you can lead even asking for consent, right? Like it doesn't have to be this kind of wimpy, floppy, like apologetic, like, would this be okay? No. It's like, it can be hot and sexy, even as you're saying.
Yes. Consent is okay to kiss sexy.
You right now? Yeah.
Totally. I mean, you can ask for consent in the sexiest ways. But I mean, by the way, what word is hotter than yes said by the right woman? Oh my God, that's like the hottest word on the planet. Yeah. So, and there's a way you don't need to take out documents and sign them saying, "Do you hereby promise that you are consenting to all activity tonight?" Okay, don't do that. Don't be Barry Sheck, be Barry White. Say, "How about we go in the bedroom and I kiss every inch of you? Would you like that?" Say it with a little, maybe she says no, maybe she says yes, but you can ask that in a sexy way. So yes. I think consent is sexy AF. I really do.
That's a great example too, right? It's really different to be like, would it be okay to take you into the bedroom versus, can I take you into the bedroom and kiss every inch of your body? I mean, that's hot.
Totally. And telling her what you're about to do / asking, like, now I'm going to kiss your neck and I'm going to kiss your wherever. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. And then she says yes or no, which is totally fine no matter what the answer is. Yes. And I feel like, you tell me, because you're obviously the woman, I feel like women respond to that because she feels like, wow, he's really focused on my comfort.
Yeah.
He's not just trying to get this body. He's making sure I feel okay with everything.
I know. I mean, that's so hot and amazing. I think the way, what I noticed when you said, "Is that okay with you?" is that's another one of those places where it could come from a collapsed, apologetic, more like, younger place, or it could come from, "I'm here, I'm good, I'm strong, I'm clear, I'm an amazing man," and I don't have to collapse to ask you if something's okay with you, right? I can actually bring my adult self to this conversation too.
Hell yeah. And guess what, guys? When you go for something and she says, "No, not yet," and you pull back and say, "All good," now she likes you even more.
It builds trust. Right? Yes.
Totally. She's like, finally a guy who's not all hands or doesn't get all butt hurt because I say, "No, I like to go slow." Yeah. And we don't do this because it can move things along faster, but a cool dividend is, hey, if you do show that empathy, there's a tip in my book where I talk about, one of my clients asked me, "Is it okay, or should I expect sex when a woman comes over?" Absolutely not. For a dozen plus reasons, probably 100 different reasons. Yeah. Sex might happen, but it's totally cool if it doesn't. Yes. So be totally fine if she spends a night and you just snuggle and chill out. Now, a nice benefit of that is you might actually wake up the next morning and have her feeling safe and comfortable with you, and then romantic escalation could happen. But that's not why we do it, but it is a nice silver lining or a dividend of being that guy who's focused on how she feels. Yeah. Because if she feels safe with you, she already feels attracted to you. If she feels safe with you, that just heightens the connection.
Oh my
connection,
God.
not attraction.
Right. The feeling hot and feeling trust or feeling safety. You know, some women are so often tracking for safety, right? And those two things together make for an actual relationship potential, as opposed to one night stands are fine. But if she doesn't trust you and you actually want more than that, right, then it's not as likely to happen. You mentioned your book. So I want to hear a little bit about your book.
Oh, that old thing.
Dating Sucks, But You Don't. Fantastic title.
Great. Thank you.
Tell us a little, like, what's one of your favorite parts about it? What are you most proud of?
I'm most proud that I wrote the book for straight single men who are shy, introverted, don't know exactly how the whole dating thing works. I wrote the book for that guy. I wrote it for my younger self, essentially.
Yeah.
Solid, nice guys who just don't know how to flirt, lack confidence, and maybe aren't sure of the steps, aren't sure of how to get a great girlfriend. So I wrote a book that is for them. And my favorite part of it is probably, well, there's a lot of parts I love, but there's a chapter, we were talking about the Me Too era. There's a chapter where I talk about this woman named Alex, who I dedicate my book to. And I was dating Alex at a time when I was in player mode. It's like I overcorrected. I went from dateless, dorky introvert who couldn't get a girl to a bit too playery, a bit too pickup artisty. And then I met Alex, and it was the deepest, most powerful relationship I've ever had. When we were together, in her past, something happened to her in her past that involves sexual assault. And she turned me on to the Me Too movement before it was a thing. She turned me on to the importance of empathy and, again, real, true caring for the other person. And I'm most proud of the Me Too chapter because it also answers a lot of questions that guys have right now, which is things like, can I go for the kiss? Can I flirt? Is it okay to approach? Is that weird? Is it creepy? And I answer all those questions and try to give guys a lot of advice. And yes, short answer is yes, you can still approach a woman. It's okay.
Yes, it is okay. And thank you for being an example of a man who, obviously adores and loves women and respects women. And there isn't a sense of resentment or anger, coming from you. It's more like, okay, let's integrate this. Let's move to a higher level of, we can all respect each other and we can all still have and actually even have more hotter, connected experiences.
Absolutely. No, thank you for saying that. It's really important to me. I have 3 sisters and a mom, and I've always liked women, and I never took it personally when they didn't want to date me. It was about me. And that's an important lesson, I think. If a man listening to this has struggled with dating, bad news, good news. Bad news, great news. The bad news is the problem is within you. In other words, it's because there are some issues inside that you need to fix. The good news is this is fixable. You can't fix women, quote unquote. You can't fix dating apps. You can't change the world, but you can change yourself, or you can work on yourself. So I've yet to meet a guy who wasn't coachable and couldn't figure out the basics of flirting, finding confidence, learning the art of connection. It's there's nothing broken within you, but I like to say to guys, what's probably happening is your dating software is Windows 97.
I was just going to say that, right? There's nothing broken, but you can upgrade your system.
You need the new iPhone X11 or whatever it's called, operating system. And that's really what this is about.
Yeah, cool. Can we talk a little bit about confidence?
Sure.
Because you mentioned in your first story about where you got stuck, that you didn't have that confidence to go approach her. And I know you have a view of confidence that's a little bit different around how confidence actually gets built or, developed in a man.
Totally. I think other than a great partner, a great girlfriend, a great relationship, confidence is that one thing that every single man wants. Confidence with women and dating.
Yeah.
And so a lot of men come to me or they read my blog or they read my book and they say, but how do I get the confidence to approach, take that chance, ask my crush out? They want the confidence first, and then they'll take tons of action once they feel confident.
Yes.
And there's a chicken and egg syndrome happening here. So the secret is essentially first comes courage. Courage is the currency that buys you confidence. You can't, sure, you can do a couple shots. You can get all psyched up and have some temporary confidence, but core true confidence, you have to earn it. You have to pay for it with courage.
Yeah.
And for example, when I first got into learning about success with women and dating that day at Starbucks, I could not approach her. I was in my late 30s and I'd never approached a woman in my life.
Wow.
And I went out with my first coach and I was really scared. I got the dry heaves in a men's room stall earlier that night because I felt like my entire worth as a man, I was about to find out if I was good enough for women. I didn't know that at the time, but that's what was happening inside. So it was a lot of fear.
Yeah.
And I just had to show courage. I also paid him $2,500 to tell me to approach women. So that had that motivation.
Right, you had that motivation. Exactly.
Yeah. But still I had to use courage. And it was only by walking up to 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 women that night, hands shaking, forehead sweating, and putting my best effort out there that I started to get a little bit of confidence. The first 2 or 3 were petrifying.
Yeah.
I remember the first woman I ever approached, really pretty blonde with a white cowboy hat on a rooftop in New York City. And in my mind, I was walking through a fire as I walked up to her.
Yes.
I walked up and said, "Hi, hey, what's up? I'm Connell. How's your night?" Blah, blah, blah. She was buzzed, barely knew I was there. She wasn't being rude, but she wasn't into me. We made small talk for 30 seconds, maybe a minute. And she said, "Well, nice meeting you. I'm going to go find my friends." And I remember thinking, hey, I'm still here. I'm corporeal.
I survived.
I survived a rejection.
Yes.
And that was a little bit of confidence. Yeah. I mean, it was the confidence to realize I could walk up to a pretty girl, say hi, and survive.
Yeah.
So you have to pay that price. It takes courage first. And then in time and reps, the confidence comes because you get these new experiences that give you that confidence.
I love that. I also think about confidence as in a slightly different way as the norm, which is not like, I know what I'm doing and I'm good at something, but a trust in oneself that I can roll with whatever arises. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to fall flat on my face. Like, I got this. I might have feelings about it. I might feel upset. I might feel hurt. I might feel rejected, but like, I can still meet the situation with most of me, right? Some of those parts might cower inside, but most of me is actually going to show up for this.
Yeah. What I hear you saying, or what I'm feeling as I heard you say that, is the other side of that coin is you don't have to necessarily be competent to feel confidence.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I'm an improv nerd. I take improv classes and teach them and love improv. And I struggled early on because I felt like, I can't feel confident until I'm really good at improv. And I remember this guy in one of my classes, terrible improviser, but confident AF on stage. Yeah. He frankly wasn't that good. Yeah. He was so confident and didn't care that he didn't have the competence that his scenes were pretty good. Uh-huh. And there's there's a self-fulfilling prophecy here where maybe you walk up to a woman or you go on a date or you ask your crush out and maybe you don't have the coolest lines and don't know all the fancy attraction moves, even though you probably don't need them. But if you have that confidence, then you'll do better and you'll be more attractive and you'll just feel more attractive. Yeah, I feel like a lot of men write a rule in their psychology that says, I will feel confident when I have competence.
Once I have the competence. Yeah. Once I have that skill or I've mastered something, only then I can be confident. Right.
And I say, write a new rule that says, I am confident just because I took that action or took that chance.
Exactly.
So lower that bar for what confidence means for you.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So before we wrap and you tell everyone where to find you, is there anything else you want to leave men with that feels important for today?
Yeah, I think for me, it all comes down to authenticity. What I feel, if you want instant confidence, as much as that's possible, or if you want to also connect better with women, what I suggest men really look at doing is making a shift and asking themselves, how can I lean into the real, true core me and broadcast that guy out to my next date or on my online dating profile or in my next approach? In other words, summon the courage to be vulnerable, to show your sense of humor. If you like dad jokes, tell dad jokes like me. If you are a intellectual nerd, dork, reading lots of books about U.S. history, talk about that on the date. If you're a single dad, you got the most important job on the planet. You're a parent.
Oh my God.
Talk about your kids on that date.
Talk about your kids. Yeah.
Yeah. Lean into that true self. Yeah.
I just
lean
feel
into
like
that authentic.
The new sexy is, right? It's like, I think about, I think there's this ad for women, the Dove ad, where they show natural women, and natural bodies and whatever. And I just imagine the ad for men where it would just be, like whatever their uniqueness is. One would be in a ball cap, one would have a fish, and one would have like a suit on with finance, and another would be jumping out of a helicopter, and another one would be geeky, whatever, right? It's like they can all be super, super sexy.
Totally. Yeah. To a subsection of women.
Yeah.
If you're a man, if you're a single man. So I like to tell anybody who's listening, don't water yourself down.
Yes.
Whatever you are, don't be a watered down wine spritzer, be a shot of Jameson.
Nice.
Not every woman wants Jameson, but women who really love it are going to be catch a buzz off the good stuff.
Yes.
Nobody wants a watered down wine drink. So yeah, lean into that core authentic, what I call the radically authentic self.
Yeah.
And lean into it because that you don't have to rehearse that. You know who you are.
Yes.
You don't have to wear a mask, and that makes you more confident and it makes you more attractive to women who like your type.
Yes. And it's less exhausting and it actually lasts, right? As opposed to, oh, it's going to work for a couple of minutes, but then you've got to either, hold up the world and then you're exhausted, or
you're suddenly, like Atlas.
Yeah. Like Atlas. And I think about this a lot with men where if you're pretending to be someone, you never actually get loved for who you are, right? So you never get seen or understood or felt or celebrated or supported for who you actually are. So I have deep, deep gratitude that you're helping men be real and be authentic and genuine and, get loved and supported and pleasured and everything like for who they actually are.
Absolutely. It feels so great to feel loved and attractive as your real self, as opposed to some scripted pickup line spouting avatar that's not even the real you. It's scary. It's hard. It's very simple, but it's powerful. And it's not easy, I should say, but it is simple. And it's
simple,
really
but not easy. Yes, I like
that.
So where can men find more of you?
Yeah, they can check out my website, datingtransformation.com. I have a free weekly video series where they get tons of great free tips by video. And of course, my book, Dating Sucks, But You Don't, is out there in the world. They can get it on my website. They can order it on Amazon.
Awesome.
Go out to a random street corner. They'll probably see me like throwing copies out to people. It's out there. It's out there.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you, Shana.
Thank you for being here today.
My pleasure.
I'm so glad you joined us for today's episode of Man Alive. I hope you enjoyed our conversation and it gave you something to consider and explore in your life. If you like what you heard, I'd be so grateful for you to subscribe and write a quick review that helps men like you find us. And again, head over to shanajamescoaching.com/quiz or text the word ALIVE, ALIVE, to 44144 to get a sense of how you can become a better lover and leader. You'll start to see how you can be both more respected and desired in your unique and genuine way. If you don't feel as confident or as excited about life or love as you'd like to be, this quiz is a really great starting point and will guide you toward a more passionate love life and a more inspiring and successful career. So again, text ALIVE, ALIVE, to 44144 or head over to shanajamescoaching.com/quiz. Join us each week for a new episode of Man Alive.